What if I told you that the very things you do to raise a smart child, stepping in to help them, praising their intelligence, structuring their day, are actually rewiring their brain for failure? We think we're building geniuses, but neurobiologically, we might be shrinking the most important parts of their minds. Let's talk about why. It won't catch. Liam, buddy, we have to go. The bus is in 4 minutes. I can do it. I just need to line up the teeth. We don't have time for the teeth today, sweetie. Let Mommy do it. There. You're such a smart boy. Go get in the car. It looks like a normal Tuesday, right? Mom helps son, crisis averted. But let's look at the brain mechanics of what just happened. In child psychology, true intelligence isn't just about having a high IQ or getting good grades. The real predictor of lifelong success is executive function, EF, the brain's ability to manage goals, control impulses, and solve problems. This happens in the prefrontal cortex. But here is the catch. A child's brain develops from the back to the front, a process called the caudal rostral gradient. The prefrontal cortex is the absolute last thing to mature. When Sarah stepped in to save time, she engaged in a micro form of helicopter parenting. By removing the obstacle, the zipper, she robbed Liam of a crucial executive workout. Children of parents who constantly hover and remove struggles often show lower self-efficacy and higher anxiety. Furthermore, Sarah praised him by saying, "You're such a smart boy." This is called ability praise, and it forces Liam into a fixed mindset, teaching him that his intelligence is a static trait, making him fear failure rather than embrace the process of learning. Mom, look! If I put the heavy box on the bottom, the command center won't fall over. That's nice, honey. But hey, remember we need to do your educational math app today. You need to get your screen time in before dinner so you're ready for first grade. We live in an era where we think structured educational apps equal intelligence. But science calls this the play paradox. When Liam was building his spaceship, he was engaging in unstructured play. Unstructured play is a biological necessity. It creates a stimulus-rich environment where Liam has to set his own goals, negotiate his own rules, and practice self-regulation. This builds self-directed executive function. When Sarah interrupted him for a highly structured, adult-designed app, she shifted him to externally driven executive function, which only teaches compliance. Worse, let's look at the iPad itself. Excessive screen time, especially in young children, physically alters the brain's white matter. White matter is the communication network of myelinated axons in the brain. MRI scans show that kids who overuse screens have lower white matter integrity in the areas of the brain that support language and literacy. By trying to give him an academic edge, Sarah is accidentally slowing down his brain's processing speed. Liam, please turn off the tablet. It's time to set the table. Just one more level. I said now, Liam. Setting the table is your chore. I can't do it. I don't know where the forks go. I'm stupid. Why are you acting like this? You are a smart kid. Just put the forks on the left. The meltdown. Every parent has been here. Sarah's instinctual reaction is to yell because her own stress response is triggered. But let's look at Liam's neurobiology right now. First, he's transitioning off a highly stimulating screen, which overstimulates the visual cortex. Second, Sarah is asking him to do a chore. Now, you might think chores are just about being helpful. They aren't. Engaging in family care chores, like setting a table, is one of the most powerful, evidence-backed ways to build a child's working memory and inhibitory control. It requires him to hold a sequence of instructions in his mind and execute them. But because Liam has been sheltered from struggles, the zipper, and praised for being smart rather than for his effort, he has no resilience. When he faces a complex task, his fixed mindset tells him, if I struggle, it means I'm stupid. His amygdala, the emotion center, hijacks his developing prefrontal cortex. To truly raise a highly intelligent child, we have to fundamentally redefine what intelligence is. For decades, we relied on the IQ score, a static number measuring logical reasoning and factual recall. But modern developmental psychology and neuroscience have blown that wide open. Robert Sternberg's triarchic theory tells us we also need creative intelligence, handling novel situations, and practical intelligence, street smarts. Howard Gardner expanded this further to include at least 8 different domains of ability, from bodily kinesthetic to interpersonal intelligence. But the holy grail of cognitive development today? Emotional quotient, EQ, and executive function, EF. These are the metrics that actually predict whether your child will have a successful, fulfilling life. Executive function is the CEO of the brain. It controls attention, working memory, and impulse control. High EF predicts academic and social outcomes far better than a traditional IQ score. So, how do we build this CEO of the brain? It starts with understanding neuroplasticity. In the first 2 years of life, your child's brain forms over 1 million new synapses every single second. This is a period of explosive growth called synaptogenesis. The brain is incredibly plastic or moldable. But as they age, the brain does something fascinating. It prunes. It eliminates unneeded neural connections to make the brain more efficient. This brings us to a mind-blowing concept in behavioral genetics called the Wilson effect. You might think that your child's intelligence is just genetic, and it is, eventually. The Wilson effect shows that the heritability of IQ, how much genetics matter, is actually very low in infancy, around 20%, but it increases as we age, reaching up to 80% in adulthood. What does this mean for you as a parent? It means that during early childhood, the environment you create accounts for a massive portion of their cognitive ability. Genetics provide the blueprint, but your daily habits are the soil, the water, and the sunlight. If the environment is weak, the genetic potential is never fully realized. Let's talk about how you water that soil. Let's talk about your voice. You may have heard of the 30 million word gap, the idea that kids who hear more words become smarter. But recent fMRI studies have completely updated this. It is not about the sheer quantity of words you dump on your child. It is about the quality of conversational turns. When you have a back-and-forth conversation with your kid, a serve and return interaction, it acts as a biological imperative that literally shapes the brain's physical structure. It fires up a region called Broca's area. Broca's area is the brain's convergence zone for language. This conversational feedback loop is a biological necessity for building their language processing centers. You can't just talk at them. You have to talk with them. Next, we must talk about the silent brain builder, the glymphatic system. If you want a smart kid, you need to reframe how you view sleep. Sleep is not just rest. In children whose brains are metabolically running a marathon every day, sleep is a brainwashing cycle. During deep, stage 3 slow-wave sleep, the space between brain cells actually expands, allowing cerebrospinal fluid to rush in and flush out toxic metabolic waste and lactic acid. If your child is chronically sleep-deprived, perhaps from looking at blue light screens that delay melatonin, that toxic debris builds up. The ABCD study, a massive neurological project, confirmed that insufficient sleep literally reduces the volume of a child's brain and damages their memory and crystallized intelligence. And finally, fuel and movement. Structurally, the human brain is about 60% fat. To build the myelin sheath, the fatty insulation that allows brain signals to travel at lightning speed, the brain desperately needs omega-3 fatty acids, specifically DHA. Kids with higher DHA levels process information faster and show better cognitive flexibility. Combine that physical fuel with physical movement. When your child engages in moderate aerobic exercise, Their muscles release metabolites that signal the brain to synthesize BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. Think of BDNF as miracle-gro for the brain. It ensures the survival and growth of neurons, particularly in the hippocampus, which is the cellular foundation of memory. A sedentary child is literally starving their brain of this miracle protein. Okay, we've covered the deep neurobiology. We know we need to step back, foster a growth mindset, protect their sleep, feed them right, and let them play. But how do we actually do this on a random Wednesday when everyone is tired and cranky? Here are 3 practical, psychology-backed tools you can implement to design a high IQ daily routine. Tool number 1. We must prevent the frantic morning rush that floods a child's brain with the stress hormone cortisol. Tomorrow morning, anchor their wake-up. 1. Hydration and breathing. Start with a glass of water and 3 deep breaths to prime the nervous system. 2. The move anchor. Do just 3 to 5 minutes of movement, jumping jacks, stretching, or a silly dance party. This acute bout of moderate aerobic exercise causes an immediate spike in BDNF, improving their immediate focus for the day. 3. Protein and fiber. Skip the sugary cereal. Feed them eggs or oatmeal with nuts. This provides a steady glucose supply for their morning cognitive load, sustaining their attention. 4. Connect. Do one high-quality serve and return interaction. Ask an open-ended question. What is one thing you are looking forward to today? You are literally firing up their Broca's area before they even step out the door. Tool number 2 is about mindset management. Stop telling your child they are smart. When you praise their innate ability, you build a fragile, fixed mindset. Instead, we are going to use process praise. Focus entirely on their effort, their strategy, and their perseverance. Instead of, "You're so smart, you did that puzzle fast," say, "I loved watching how hard you worked to find the corner pieces of that puzzle. You really stuck with it." When children believe they can grow their brain through hard work, they become resilient to setbacks. Combine this with autonomy support. Stop hovering. Let them struggle to zip their coat. Let them choose their own clothes. Fostering independence builds intrinsic motivation and powerful inhibitory control. Finally, the evening routine. To optimize that brainwashing glymphatic system, you need a digital sunset. Power down all screens at least 1 to 2 hours before bedtime to protect their white matter development and allow melatonin to rise naturally. But before they sleep, implement one family care chore. Not just feeding the dog, that's too simple. Give them a complex task that requires planning and switching attention, like setting the dinner table or sorting the laundry. This is a strikingly simple intervention to train their working memory and executive function. And end the night with the 3 B's: bath, brush, book. Reading aloud to them is the ultimate driver of vocabulary growth. Raising a highly intelligent child isn't about pushing them to read by age 3 or buying them the most expensive coding toys. It is about providing the biological and psychological environment necessary for their brain to optimize itself. Every time you step back and let them struggle with a zipper, you are building their resilience. Every time you choose a conversation over a tablet, you are physically wiring their brain for connection. Every time you protect their sleep and prioritize their free, messy, unstructured play, you are empowering them to become the CEO of their own mind. You are not just a parent managing bad behavior. You are the architect of their neural foundation. You are building the house they will live in for the rest of their lives. Make it a strong one. If this video made you rethink your approach to parenting, please hit that subscribe button. And I want to hear from you. What is one struggle you are going to let your child figure out on their own tomorrow? Let me know in the comments below. Until next time, keep building.